everyone, I've made it to the UK. I'm going to be spending about 2 weeks traveling around, but I'm spending my first 2 nights here in London. I'm staying at an amazing hotel. It's honestly one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed at, called Montague on the Gardens. It's located in the Bloomsbury neighborhood, which is upscale and far enough outside the center that you don't feel so touristy, but close enough that you can easily access everything that you want to get to. My flight getting here was delayed. I was supposed to arrive at 1 o'clock at Heathrow, but instead I arrived at 5 o'clock in the evening at Heathrow. So my first day was kind of a bust. I did go out to the center of London and walked around, and it was really nice at night. London is really safe for solo travelers, even at night, especially in the center and the touristy areas. So I walked around, I saw Big Ben and the Parliament building and Westminster Abbey, which were all lit up at night, and it was beautiful. Today I'm crossing a big one off my bucket list, and I am visiting the inside of Buckingham Palace. My reservation is at 9:45, but since it's my only full day in London, I'm out bright and early heading to Hyde Park. Hyde Park is one of the most famous parks in London, and it attracts millions of visitors every year. The Diana Princess of Wales Memorial Walk is 7 miles long and goes in a figure 8 through Kensington Gardens, Hyde Park, Green Park, and St. James Park, passing places that were associated with the princess during her life. Hyde Park is massive, covering 350 acres right in the center of London. Kensington Garden is another 275 acres attached to Hyde Park, so there is unlimited space to explore. Something you may not know is that the King of England actually owns all the swans in the UK. I accidentally lost track of how far I'd walked and ended up having to run back to Buckingham Palace to make it for my reservation. Buckingham Palace is only open for a couple of months in the summer, but if you are visiting during that time, I highly recommend checking it out. And unfortunately, there are no pictures or video allowed inside the palace, but here's the back of it, which many people never get to see, and the King's very own backyard. On your way out, don't forget to stop at the gift shop. There's a lot of really cute Queen Elizabeth memorabilia. After the gift shop, it's about a 7-minute walk to get to the exit. After visiting the palace, I was heading over to Borough Market for lunch, but first I had to stop at Pret A Manger and grab an iced latte. I have a subscription, so it was free. Then I headed over to the Tube. You do not need an Oyster card to ride the Tube. All you need is contactless payment. You can use a credit card with Tap or Apple or Google Pay. Just make sure that you use the same method of payment every time so that you don't go over the zone max. For zones 1 and 2, which you probably won't leave, is just £8.10 per day. Also, do not underestimate stairs in the Tube stations. There are lots. Borough Market is really popular, and so it is pretty crowded. Despite its popularity, it is still a really great place to go for lunch. There are so many options, and there are a lot of stalls specializing in one thing, like cheese or Turkish delights, different kinds of desserts, ice creams, and then there's a lot of different restaurants as well. I ended up getting this vegetarian wrap with beet slaw, and I actually dropped some beet slaw on my white shoes. Thank goodness I had a shout wipe, and it came right out. After lunch, I met up with a friend of mine who happened to be in London, and we went on a couple of tours together. We walked down the Thames and across the Millennium Bridge over to meet our tour guide, Will, for our historical London pub crawl. We booked this tour through a small company called Liquid History, and what it is you get a tour guide and you tour London like you would on any tour, except you stop at pubs to enjoy a pint with your tour group while you're learning about the city.
Hi, I'm Brittany, and this is my first drink.
And I'm Brenda, and this is my first drink.
Our tour guide was super knowledgeable, and he stopped at a lot of really interesting places and taught us things that you would just never learn without having taken this tour, like this church. Look at the top of it, the tiers. This is where the design for the tiered wedding cake came from. I really enjoyed learning history in this kind of environment where we would stop and experience the culture of the pubs in London, because let's face it, drinking pints is practically an English national pastime.
cannonballage, you only see this design in this.
Hi, I'm Brenda, and this is my third drink.
I'm Brittany, and this is my third drink.
After downing our pints in our third pub, we headed next door to the Twinings tea shop. It is Twinings, not Twinnings. We said Twinnings, and everyone in our group looked at us like we were crazy because they say it right, and it's Twining. This shop was really cool. It smelled really good in there, and they had so many different kinds of tea. And of course, they have samples for you to try. It was nice to get something in between our pints.
Hello. What's brewing?
I have a white tea, our China white. This is
Then we headed over to our fourth and final pub of the day, the Ship's Tavern. I really love that they have half pints in England so that I could have a drink at every pub and not be drunk. And because you just have to try it once while you're in England, we split a plate of fish and chips. After dinner, we made our way over to our second tour of the evening, which was a Jack the Ripper tour, and I booked it with London with a Local Tours. This is a pay what you will tour, which means that you don't pay up front, you tip the tour guide what you think the tour was worth at the end, and this tour was amazing. I'm not really one for scary stuff, but it was really interesting to learn about the dark history of Jack the Ripper. As you can see, I did a lot of walking today, and I am ready for bed. It is my last morning in London, so I got up bright and early and headed down to the center to see it in the daylight. I walked around and took some photos and really just enjoyed the vibe for my last couple of hours in London. And then headed back to my hotel, grabbed my luggage, and headed to Heathrow to pick up my rental car for the rest of my UK adventure. Thank you all so much for watching. This is my very first YouTube video, so please be kind and hit that like button. And if you want to see what I get up to next, hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss a thing. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next one.